Guys, let's get in the third part of 42nd day. Okay, we are here to talk on a small matters. How today's generation is going ahead and moving forward. You know a little bit about it. A lot of innocence, are really. So most of the people know the current situation about what's actually happening behind you, behind you, and you must have to know about it ahead of this camera. The people, nobody's here actually gonna show their cunning, cruel, really reckless behavior ahead of you, and then you just get stuck and you like to keep believing in other people. So that things will be really miserable and devastating and also dismal for you because you come to believe and trust in other people. So that's how that situation will become really disgusting also. And that's, I assume that things like really are dismal, terrible, awful. That's even for you. So people are here, but they would like to soften other people when they come to get a better person than you. In that case, they will just come to supplant you, and they won't even think about you. They're not gonna care about. They just come to neglect all your feelings, emotions. They won't care about. They won't care about it, and they mustn't have to care. I'm not saying with my duties or some with my full words, but this is actually happening behind to the what behind the innocent person. They are just hoping that all the people are like them. But this situation, what this current generations and whatever is happening in this era are actually different, and you must have to think in this way. So if you can, then you will always stuck at a point from where you can't move forward. You feel like everybody are like with you, and they are really, but you won't think about their male balance, but mentality. You won't gonna consider recognize them like evil, evil minded persons. So if you come to recognize them as actually how they are, in that case, you can you like to be apart from those people. You will always like to say the sentences, and even some people have had said it. They will come to say but stay away from me, these kinds of what sentences and uh, what paragraph, if you might have word you might have listened from, heard from other people, even in the movies or something. But you must, it is really necessary. People are here recognizing these kinds of thing like redundant, but it's really necessary and significant to recognize the persons, what is actually the psychology behind that kind of things, or something like that. Only in that case you can move forward. Otherwise, you will always you are gonna stuck at a point, and you can embellish your life, even a small matters, so in that case everything will stop at a point, and where you feel like nothing is uh like, I can't say what is actually happening behind you. In that case, how can you bring improvements upon upon your journey, on your life? So it is really matters to be a really concerning person, also proficient person. That's so that's whatever I like to say. I had said here, and you must has to be conscious persons. Don't go with the flow of being an unconscious persons. So in that way, you'll always fall into troubles and with obstacles. So you will even in that case you'll become a malleable person. Then anybody will just like to, they will come ahead of you, and they will go move forward with after just after influencing you. And a lot of it has a lot of disadvantages and demerits on your mentality, but you can't think, and you don't have that ability to think in that way. So it is really matters to think in that way, that nobody wants your prestige, your none of most of the people don't want your prestige, your prosperity, your reputations, your harmony, your liberation, even in your own family or well, in the in a community or society. So it's hard. It's really nebulous to uh, declare the person, the people, what for what kind of motive and the purpose they are come ahead of you. It's really how it can become really worst when you just come to neglect their uh, what negative part, and you come to accept only, and you will come to recognize those person with positivity. It is necessary. We have the mentality even to think with positivity, or whenever we feel like how it is really strange, and unbelievable, and it is incredible. In that case, a lot of people can be the same person, but we just come to neglect. In that case, what we can expect even from our own self. So in that case, it really matters. But even that is a really nebulous incident, coincident, and that kind of things are happening with you to you. What in that case, trepidations will be the cause of your what anxiousness, your depressions, or something like that. But you don't know what these kinds of if you have trepidations within you, everybody has. But when you come to embrace it with your what overthinking mentality and that kinds of visions, in that case you just come to neglect all the bad, awful, and terrible habits among the people and whatever these are around you. You just come to focus on your ameliorations and improvements, and you can even able to hard work and being persistent, and that's actually matters in your life. So never ever think that it is really how. Uh, I don't know what is actually going on behind, but you always have to think about your prosperity, your liberations. Only in that case you can become a little bit better. But whether you are not, perfect, you are not impeccable, but or you are just thinking about your life, your career, and you are not even taking a single steps ahead. In that case, but uh, uh, trepidations will affect your mentality, and it will also be the cause of your depressions and sickness, and what you can become a resilient person. So it is, so you must have to know everyone's inner thoughts. Only in that case you can go ahead. So otherwise you will always stay the same person, and how can you expect even a little bit thing from other people? And it is better not to anticipate if even a little thing from other people. In that case you'll be what you feel like everything's ahead of you and around you will be like really euphoria or something like that. You will be so delighted, and it has to be, you have to be. It is really matters, and it's for your mental health and physical health. So if your life is filled with all the depression, anxiousness, or what you are really how you take a lot of worries for other people or something like that, and even your mentality and whatever inner thoughts are really nebulous. In that case, how can you move forward? Even you think about your, can't you become a good person or something like that? Because if you can, then uh, people will come to inside your journey, your whatever. So it is really matters to become better. So always think about your passions, your career, your objectivity. So accept that everything will seem how really tedious, freezing, and hideous. Uh, that's it, and that's not matter what is actually happening behind you. And you, but one thing you have to think about your future, that even your journey is really desultory, or whatever you're even your passions, on what you are